Hello, this is Jomaj Studios and this is our original fantasy action adventure, The Fall of Nale. Episode 14. Many days had passed since Sir Nathaniel had set out to save his homeland Nale. The kingdom's chief councilman, now in a restless state, called the attention of the monarch and met with the king and his great wizard Elzador in the royal throne room. Sire, it's been almost a month now and there has been no word from Sir Nathaniel. The council and many of the people are finding it very hard to entrust the fate of our kingdom in the hands of one knight, said one of the councillors, with the support of his colleagues. Is there a particular solution you had in mind? Asked the king. Yes, sire. We, the council, think more men should be sent to destroy Aiden's evil, answered the councillor. I've seen all your soldiers, knights and freelance warriors, and none of them are any better than Sir Nathaniel. This problem is a very delicate one, and requires more than just swords and sorcery. Sending more men will do nothing to improve the situation, pointed out Elzador. Okay, wizard, what do you suggest we do if the young knight fails his mission? Asked another council representative. Then I will step in. I've already created an aura around the kingdom that will keep out Sorax's power. If no word is heard from Nathaniel in the next 7 days, then I and I alone will face Aiden and the Hell Knight, announced the great wizard. His words did nothing to put the council's mind at ease. But then at that point nothing could, except total freedom from the prospect of being destroyed by Sorax. Suddenly, a guard barged into the throne room in an ecstatic state. Sire, he has returned, informed the guard, then allowing into the throne room escorted by many rejoicing citizens of Nale, Nathaniel and Jacob. Good night. Your safe return is encouraging. Tell me, did you succeed in your mission? Asked the king. Yes, sire. Aiden and the threat he posed is no more, answered Nathaniel as he and his comrade bowed before the king. These words triggered the spur of laughter and rejoice amongst the crowd of the people in the room. I, however, cannot take full credit, for without the help of Jacob, this man beside me, Nale would surely have faced destruction. When he first told me he was the son of a knight to the throne, I didn't believe him. But his actions on many occasions was that of one who inherited a keen sense of honor and bravery. These are virtues that I have only seen amongst Nale's most elite knights, continued Nathaniel, focusing a great deal of recognition on the noble warrior. Young man, what is your father's name? Asked the king. Sir Hymer, replied Jacob proudly. If what Sir Nathaniel says is true, then you are truly the son of your father. And if you're even half the man your father was, it would be a great loss to Nale if you didn't serve the throne, said the king, now approaching both men, who were still on their knees. The king then drew his sword and gently placed its blade on Jacob's shoulder. I bestow upon thee the honor of knighthood. From this day forth, you will be known as Sir Jacob. The king then turned to the people who had gathered and announced, Tonight, there will be a celebration for the people in the royal hall. There I will give Sir Nathaniel his reward. That evening, the royal hall became a haven for laughter, dancing, drinking and eating. The celebration brought forth so much rejoicing in the air that it was almost tangible. Now fully clothed in the attire of an elite knight of the throne, Jacob was introduced by Nathaniel to other fellow knights. Amongst them, he gained admiration instantaneously, for in their eyes, anyone who could win over the respect of Nathaniel must be a great warrior. But the noble warrior's main focus of attention, while conversing, was on his one true love, who seemed so far out of reach as she sat in her place beside the king and queen on the high table. Can I have everyone's attention, please? Said the king, about managing to put the celebration on pause as he called Nathaniel to stand beside him. Young knights, I would like to take this opportunity to thank you on behalf of the people. Over the years, you have defended this kingdom with your bravery and your honor. And for that, you will always have my favor. This is why I would like you to take my daughter's hand in marriage, said the king. As he uttered those words, the whole room became silent as an anticipation to hear Nathaniel's response materialized. My loyalty lies with your throne. Until my last breath, I will continue to fight for this kingdom. But I will not take your daughter's hand in marriage unless she consents to it first, responded Nathaniel, noticing the shocked expression on Lilith's face. So what say you, daughter? Will you marry Sir Nathaniel? Asked the king, at this point certain his daughter would give only one answer. Yes, father, I will marry him, replied Lilith. As the princess spoke those words, Jacob's entire world shattered into pieces. As the celebration now began to focus around the proposed wedding, Jacob quietly slipped out of the palace. "Where are you going, young warrior?" asked Elzadar as he watched Jacob about to walk through the palace gates. "That is no concern of yours," replied Jacob. The noble warrior then took another step and then stopped. In that instant, he decided to make a U-turn and confront the wizard. "I risk my life for the well-being of this kingdom. And for what? In return, I lose my love and get pulled into this life I want no part of," said Jacob, who was clearly frustrated. "Jacob, your father was a great man, and your mother leaving had nothing to do with what he did or who he was. There is nothing wrong with living by the sword if it means protecting the weak," said Elzadar with a look of empathy. The wizard then smiled and continued. "Before you leave, you owe it to yourself to speak to her one last time." After the celebration, Lilith returned to her room with a great deal of unhappiness in her heart, only to find Jacob waiting for her. The princess's immediate reaction was to run and hug the noble warrior, but he responded by pulling away. "How could you?" asked Jacob, unable to even look at her. "If I had refused my father's request, he would have lost face in front of the people," explained Lilith. "I too am a knight of the throne that saved the kingdom. If you truly loved me, you would have used that as an opportunity to tell the whole world about us," pointed out Jacob, who was still unable to look at the princess. "How can you say that? You risked your life to save this kingdom, yet you want me to risk my father's favor with the people? You know as well as I that my father has many enemies within the council that are waiting to find any excuse to get him to relinquish power of the throne. Losing favor with the people would surely lead to this, which is why I, as his daughter, could not turn down the people's champion," argued Lilith, now on the verge of crying. Jacob finally turned round, looked his lover in the eyes, gently held her hands and said, "I didn't destroy Aden to preserve the well-being of this kingdom, or to avenge my father's death. I destroyed Aden to save you." After hearing those words, the princess kissed Jacob passionately, and in that moment there was no doubt in her mind that the only life worth living was one by her lover's side. 2 hours later, the queen came back to check on her daughter's well-being, for as a mother, she knew her daughter had no desire to marry Nathaniel. To her dismay, she found her daughter's room empty. Queen, scared her firstborn had run away all by herself, immediately told her husband. In a matter of minutes, by the orders of the king, Nathaniel and his team of elite knights were out looking for her. But the princess was safe, for she had rode off to start a new life with her one true love. "So, where are we going?" asked Lilith, excited about spending the rest of her life with Jacob. "To a home I built for us far away from Nale," answered Jacob, who was equally excited. Suddenly, the noble warrior was forced to stop the movement of his horse, for in his way was Nathaniel and 3 of his fellow knights. An unsettling silence followed, as it became clear to Nathaniel that Lilith's heart would never be his. As a champion to the throne, it was the knight's duty to return the princess to the king and arrest Jacob, who in the eyes of Nale law would immediately be branded as a criminal. But Nathaniel couldn't help seeing a man who would lay down his life for him, and a woman who he loved for most of his life. "Let them pass," ordered Nathaniel. The knights, without questioning his authority, did as they were told. "Thank you," said Jacob, before riding off into the night, knowing very well that Nathaniel's decision was rooted from a bond they now shared, a bond created from the need to embark on a hero's quest. That is the end of episode 14, but before you go, answer this episode's question. Based on the story so far, who has more honor, Nathaniel or Jacob? Refer to the Bible and leave your answer via any of Jomaj Studios' social media platforms, which can be found at jomajstudios.com. Like Water, The Next Age is now available on paperback and in ebook format via any Kindle device. Also, check out the Jomaj Studio website, Twitter page, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube channel for the complete Like Water series and all other Jomaj Studio features.